Hello guys, welcome to technology. Welcome back to technology. So today we are going to see the other concepts in JavaScript. So we are going to see the JavaScript performance. Okay. So here, as we can see, JavaScript is an essential part of almost every web app and web-based software. And we know this, right? So it is essential part for web app and the web-based software. And JavaScript's client-side scripting capabilities can make applications. So basically, it is client-side. The speciality of JavaScript is, as we all know, the client-side scripting capabilities, and it can make applications more dynamic and interactive. But it also increases the change chance of inefficiencies in code. Thus, poorly written JavaScript can make it difficult to ensure a consistent and healthy experience for all users. So, the following are the best practices for optimizing JavaScript code. So, if we have to write an optimal code, the code that works well, the code that performs well, these are the steps we have to follow. These are the practices which you have to implement. So, the first thing is use the fast DOM traversal with the document.getElement by ID. Okay, so what is this? So here, given the ability of jQuery, it is much easier to produce highly specific selectors based on combination of tag names, classes, and CSS3. So you need to be aware that this approach involves several interactions while jQuery loops through each of the DOM elements and try to find a match. You can improve DOM traversal speeds by picking a specific element by ID. So what it is telling us basically is it's like you know we have the availability of jQuery, right? So for because of this, it is much easier to produce the specific selectors. We can select a particular combination of tag names, classes, and CSS. Okay, so jQuery loops through each DOM. Basically, what happens here is it involves several iterations where the jQuery loops through each DOM element. So, what is the DOM? I'm going to explain that and tries to find a match. You can improve DOM traversal speeds. You can also improve the traversal by picking up the specific element by ID. So I know it's really confusing. I know you won't get what I'm trying to tell you, but as you move forward through it, you will understand it clearly. Okay. So here, jQuery will need to iterate until it finds the right element. So if we have to find the right element, so the element that is on the right side, so this is the thing we use. This is the bit of a code we use. Okay, what we are doing here is let button equal to jQuery of body.div.dialog greater than div.close button child and hash child 4. So that means we are trying to find the particular element here by using this code. Okay, so I'm going to explain that code in a while. Wait a minute. Okay, so the above code makes use of jQuery to manipulate the DOM element, which is not the best option, as instead of doing it this way we make use of get element by id method, which the document object provides us. Okay, so a far more optimized way is to use this one, document dot get element by ID. So let button equal to document dot get element by ID of dialog close button. So here in the first code, what we're doing is we're trying to find the element. We're trying to iterate through the DOM and find the element that we want. But here we are giving it, we are like using get element by id, which is super simple, super easy. We are like, this is like an optimized code rather than traversing to all this. So we are like trying to find the trying to look in the div.dialog we are getting into div.close, and in that like some nth child of like some 4. We are traversing through all that. Rather than doing it, it's very simple to just use get element by id, so we are getting the element by using the id name of the element. The id name is the id of the element is dialog close button. I hope it makes sense. If you have any doubts, you can comment down below. I will explain it. I will try to explain it and expand it further as we move on. Okay, don't worry about that. So next we have like delay JavaScript loading. So what is delay JavaScript loading? Let's see. So where we load our style sheets and JavaScript files, it can have an effect on perceived speed of a page. Okay, so basically where we load really affects the speed. Okay, so if a user sees some content even before the JavaScript takes in, it's a much better experience. When a browser encounters a script tag, it stops what it's doing completely to download and run the script, right? So browser, what it does is when it encounters, so when it shows up, when a script tag shows up, what the browser does, so when we wrote a script tag in our code, so what a browser does is it basically stops the browsers, like stops all the activities that are happening, and it tries to run the script. So if we put our script at the top of the page, that means it's downloading our script files first and then later getting down to pass our html body. So we can put, as we all know, we can put like our script tags anywhere, right? We can put in our head, we can put in the body of the html. So if we put it in the head, then first it loads the javascript files, then it gets into the html body, right? An alternative is to use differ in the script tag. So there is another alternative, that is using the differ. So what is differ? It's a differ is an attribute. Okay, so the differ attribute specifies that the script should be executed after the page has finished parsing. So after the page was finished parsing, um, the script should be executed. So that's the basic, that's when, if we want this, we use this script, I mean differ attribute. Okay, so but it only works for external scripts. So what is meant by external scripts is, we basically, if you don't know what all these are, you can just go back to my previous videos. External JavaScript, internal JavaScript, all that, you can look into that. Okay, so you'll get an idea about what I'm talking about. So external JavaScript is basically the JavaScript, we like, it's a JavaScript file which we don't include in our HTML code. So we write it separately in another file, okay? And we just place it by using by using a line, basically, okay? And the example is, so this is basically the example. So placing the script at the end. Okay, so here we are doing it at the end. So HTML head and the body. So like we put it at the end. So this is how we include the html, like the external javascript, right? So using differ, by using differ, what we do is we write the differ here. And like, what is the difference between these two? Look at that, the source src is that we mentioned it here, but here we are mentioning the path. Okay, we're mentioning some kind of like a path, and we are writing differ here. So differ is basically the load, like the script is executed after the page has finished parsing. Okay, so that is differ. So what is the benefit, what is the use of the differ? So why we use it? It is basically used to, like as they mentioned here, to execute the javascript after the, like after the whole, everything is parsed in the html code. Okay, so I will clearly explain you why we use this, why we use differ. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly um try to get into browser to explain this to you guys. So give me a second. Okay, guys, let me show you. Okay, so these are the benefits of using the differ. So using differ attribute in a script tags allows the browser to download a JavaScript file while simultaneously. So it also downloads the JavaScript file. At the same time, it also parses the HTML document. Okay, so that means when the parsing is finished, the script file is loaded, ensuring the script only executes after the HTML parsing is complete. Okay, so that means it loads and it also parses. So once the parsing is done, whatever loaded is executed. Okay, while improves the page loading speed by preventing render blocking, maintaining the order of the script execution as they appear in the document, making it ideal for scripts to rely on fully parsed DOM structure. So key benefits are faster rendering, so we can just get the scripts faster, like the script, whatever the code we written is executed fastly and loaded fastly. The script page is loaded fastly, and it preserves script execution order. Okay, and access to fully parsed DOM. Since the script runs after the HTML is fully parsed, it can reliably interact with all DOM elements without encountering issues with elements not yet loaded. So the elements that are not yet loaded, are not an issue here. So basically, what happens is it interacts with the all DOM elements without encountering the issues with the elements not yet loaded. Okay, so improved user experience. So it's smoother. It's like it gives a smoother experience, especially when there are like a slower connections, and it is only for external scripts. Okay, you have to remember that. And comparison with async. So async is another thing which we use. While both different async allows asynchronous loading of scripts, differ guarantees the execution of scripts, whereas the async may execute scripts in any order they finish loading. So there is like an execution order when it comes to differ, but there is no execution order when it comes to the async. Okay, that is the thing which we have to remember here. So next we have like switch instead of lengthy if then else statement. So this is like these are like a few optimization tips. Okay, so when your code base gets bigger, you can use like a switch statement. So that is basically what is mentioned. So get rid of unnecessary loops and calls made inside loops, like calls made inside loops. Okay, so array, push, pop, shift instructions have minimal processing overhead due to the large due to the language constructs closely related to their low-level assembly language counterparts. So I'm sorry. It's easy to use like array, push, pop, and shift rather than using the like inner loops and everything. Okay, because they're very easy and they require minimal processing and they're related to the low-level assembly language. Okay, for example, here we have like an array. So here we put the push, that means we are adding this into the array, the zebra. So console.log of animals, so we get all this as the output. So the pop method is basically we remove something. So pop, it removes the last element. So here as we did the pop, the last element, the dir is removed, as you can see here in the output, right? I hope you got it. The dir is removed. Next, the shift method. So basically what shift method does is it shifts the elements. Okay, so if we uh, what we like do here, like what happens when you use this shift is first element is removed and all the elements are shifted. Okay, so the giraffe is shifted to first position, horse is shifted to second, deer is shifted to third, whereas the tiger is removed here, if you can see this, right? So next, minimize your code as much as you can, bundling your application's components into .js files and passing them through a JavaScript minification tool will make your code cleaner. There are tons of code minification tools that are available for free. Okay, so this is a tip. And use the local scope. This is particularly useful for writing asynchronous code using callbacks. However, it also improves the performance because you are not only relying on global or closure variables. Help further up the scope chain. You can get the most out of the scope variable this by rewiring it using the special call and apply methods. that are built into each function. See the example below. So if we see this, so we are like using it, using the this to make the code more optimal. So why it makes the code more optimal is because when we have to like use like a function, or when we have to call back again and again, using the global variable or like some closure variable is not optimal. It is not the most reliable thing. Okay, so you can get the most out of using the scope variable, that is this, by rewiring and using the special call, and using these two methods you can you know get it. And if you see the example you will get it. Okay, so here we wrote like an variable organization. So we create an object here, object dot create of I and id. So that means we are initializing the function of like we are passing. I mean, this is like a constructor, right? So we are initializing the variable name. So this dot name equal to name. So that means this is the local variable. Like we are giving it the local scope. So next, do function callback. So we are using the callback. So here callback dot apply of this. So we are using this variable. So we are using the callback and like this variable to call the variable that is a name. Okay, so we are creating an instance for that. Let geeks for geeks equal to organization. So this is the name of the object, right? Organization of geeks for geeks. So we are creating an instance. Okay, it's like we are giving the uh, we're giving like a value to the variable name through this instance. So we created like an object here, right? So geeks for geeks dot do of function. So that means we are calling the function. So alert this dot name. So that means geeks dot geeks gets alerted because we rewrite this. So by the way, I took this example from Geeks for Geeks. Okay, so geeks for geeks get alerted because we rewrite this. Okay, so here what is going on is we're calling the function, and every time we call it, we written here this dot name, right? So this dot name is the name that we given, that is geeks for geeks. So this gets alerted. That means each time it is popped on the screen. So I will definitely demonstrate it for you guys. Let me like copy this real quick. I'm sorry, I'm not um, giving my own example today. So let me quickly like show it to you so that you will get like an idea of what I'm like trying to tell you. So it's a basic JS file. So now this is what we're doing. So we created an object. So we initialized, it's like a basic constructor. So we are like dimensioning what a function have to do. Like the function, the object and everything is closed here. So now we're creating like an instance or an object. The name, we are giving the value for this variable called name. So we are like calling this instance by like we are using this instance to call the function do. And so what we are doing is each time we are writing this dot name rather than mentioning all this. So that means we are using the local variable this dot name. So what happens here is the geeks for geeks is alerted. So let me quickly run it. Why geeks for geeks is alerted here is because the value of the variable name is geeks for geeks. So as we are calling in the local scope, we are calling the variable called name, right? I hope it makes sense. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comments. Okay. And save it and quickly run this. And I think we have to run this. I don't know why this is like not running here. It's really annoying. Let me like quickly change the. Okay, wait a minute, guys. Give me a sec. Okay. Okay, guys. Seems like there are some errors in the code, so I just corrected the code, debugged it. So this is the correct code. Okay, basically this is how we write this. Let organization equal to. So we are creating like a constructor here and we are writing the function. So here we don't have like any excess statement, I mean extra statement, and we are writing the function. Create organization of name, let object equal to, so we are creating an object dot create of, we are creating an object called organization. So we are initializing it with the object dot init of name, and we are returning the object. So this is the thing we are doing. And next we are creating the object called geeks for geeks. We are creating like an so this is the function to create object. So we are writing a function to create the object. After creating the object, we are calling the function alert.dis of name. So here as an output, we got the geeks for geeks because this is what is given by us here. Okay, I hope it made sense. So next, let's move on to the next concept. So debugging in JavaScript. So debugging is the process of testing, finding, and reducing bugs in computer programs that involves identifying errors, that means syntax, runtime, or logical errors, using debugging tools to analyze code execution, implementing fixes, and verifying correctness. So types of errors in JavaScript. So I'm going to like make another video on this. Okay, so types of errors and all these, because this is a big concept, and yeah, we can discuss this in the next video. So thank you so much for watching, and wait for the other series that are coming up in our channel, where we discuss about the coding, problem solving, and the most important is DSA using the Java. I've been planning to do this videos from a long time, but for some reason, I don't know, there are like a lot of hurdles coming in between, but that's fine. I will overcome all of them and I will do it for you guys as I promised. Like in the beginning of the videos, I told that I'm going to do a series or a set of videos on them, or a playlist. Just going to make a big playlist which is about the entire A to Z about JavaScript. So stay tuned for that. I mean, not JavaScript, I'm sorry, it's a DSA, using Java. Okay, so stay tuned for that. I will make the A to Z, like everything. I'll cover all the concepts. So, yes, that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for my next ones. And thank you.